Lou Thesz successfully defended his World Heavyweight Championship.
Rogers strut.
Kowalski's got him right where he wants him.
Dory Funk Jr. wanting that World Heavyweight Championship.
10 pounds of pure gold.
Simon Felder's Dusty Rhodes has just become the World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion.
Presenting the greatest organization in wrestling history.
We always deliver on our promises at the National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, looks pretty hard, and look at what are you gonna work now? Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of NWA The Dynasty. We are back. We have Wrestling Woodstock in just 18 days. We have a fraudulent title change because Yamato still has our title after having won it abroad when Cody was in Dragon Gate and got attacked by a masked assailant and is now on the hunt to figure out who it is, but we still have a non-Cody NWA champion. Cody obviously very upset. Yamato's been on the show as our champion, and Cody's been staking the claim basically that he's coming after him for it. Yamato had a really good match with Samurai del Sol in the main event of our last Worldwide, which was at the Cecil Community College. We are going abroad, so you saw we had some Mid-Atlantic there. It's a little bit of the Midwest going off there, not just the Southeast anymore. Rating was about middle of the pack for us. Not too bad. Only at 200 for an attendance, but much better than the 101 that we had in our previous show. I'll take that. Obviously, we're trying to move up our size so we can get a better broadcast deal at some point. And in order to do that, we kind of have to play some of the territories in the region a little bit more than our home one. So that's sort of the goal here. In the show itself, we had a pretty good show. Some interesting stuff happening. Obviously, Cody and Yamato still going at it. We had a high end being challenged by Cody's group, the Dynasty, in which I believe it didn't go well for the Dynasty. Where are you here? Yeah, Dragon Kid and Akuda defeating Axel Henning and Ricky Knight Jr. Did not go well. Also, match wasn't very good. We had Jade Cardinal continuing to be dominant, but in squash matches, she did okay in a promo. Remy Zane getting jumped by Juice Robinson, and Juice calling out that he wants vengeance for a house show match from another company from 10 years ago that he felt derailed his career, while Remy took the mantle and then squandered it. So kind of interesting there. And obviously we have something brewing with Aly Catch and Kylie Ray. So we got a lot of little stories going on and bubbling up, which is very nice. Eddie also currently having a shot at the TV title at any time. Really wants to take a run with it in the tag scene and hang out with his friend Homicide. That's the only thing Homicide is in the save is freaking Eddie Kingston's friend. But he wants to hang out with Homicide. He wants to grind to the tag title. They want the gold. They want to be back on the top. And then obviously at any time he can also issue a challenge for the television title, which is currently with Fatu, who seems to be, or is it with Starks? It might be with Starks right now. I think it's Starks. You guys know, because you see this little thing on the side, but I don't see that thing, so I don't know. I have to actually look at my titles, but I'm pretty sure Starks has it right now. Starks has it back. Fatu had it, won it through a little bit of some shenanigans, and we have that going on there. So, we have another show. Let's go ahead and get to that show and see what the next episode of Worldwide has for us. All right, guys, we are back. A lot of retirements going on in the save here as we've skipped ahead. Lita, Billy Gunn, Paul White. Nobody really that surprising. They're all a bit older, but it's kind of interesting to see them kind of popping up. Octagon also retired. Didn't realize he was still working, but that is fine as well. Manoa retiring. A lot of people retired. Cyrus Payne retired. Whoever the hell Cyrus Payne is. I don't know who this guy is, but he's retiring. So that's Headhunter retiring. Didn't realize Headhunter was alive, but certainly interesting nonetheless. In terms of, it's always interesting to see also just who is leaving companies. Usually the big ones that have those locked in talents tend to be your nationals. So WWE, New Japan. We can take a look at that real quick. Sometimes they don't pop up. Sometimes when we skip here, for some reason I've noticed that they don't always pop up. For example, I don't think we saw that Tamina was gone, or that Roderick Strong was in WWE in our save, but is now gone. I don't remember seeing that particularly, but that's possible. Obviously, a lot of people are gone because of the some of the updates that we did. But we still had some other weird ones, like Nakamura, who is working in Ring of Honor. I don't think he would. Well, he would work for us, but it'd be a lot of money. A lot of money for Nakamura. Would be pretty crazy. I think we mentioned that many episodes ago when he left, but he's working Ring of Honor right now in a handshake deal, and he's currently the pure champion. I love Nakamura, but I love King of Strong style Nakamura. So bringing that back would certainly be interesting. What would be the what would be the cost? How low could I get him? Would be the question. What's our highest? I'm sorry, I'm just totally distracted now thinking about Nakamura in NWA is the most hilarious thing. I don't think we have the money for this at all. What did I want? I wanted to look at our contracts. That's what I wanted to look at. What the hell is our highest paid contract? Our highest paid is Nick Aldis, who somehow is at $8,700 a month, which is way too much money. Way too much money. But still, we can't even negotiate. When's his contract up? When is your contract up? Let's take a look. I probably look out here. 3 months. We are certainly going to renegotiate that down in 3 months, I think. I think that was when when I set up the database, I think that he was set up for exclusive written, and for some reason he had gotten that high of a contract. It's not that bad when you think about if he was running on every show, but he's not running on every show, so it's kind of a waste of money. Cody and Steen also costing a significant amount of money. Cody, we don't have much of a choice with because, we're kind of wrapped around him right now. But that does mean it's not far in line of a cost, but he would be a little expensive. I don't know. I don't know if the King of Strong style for $3,700, which is less than our top guys. He would be a top guy, but it would be very expensive. I hate to say I would want to lowball him, but I would be willing to pick him up for $2,500. I gave you creative control for 1 year. I'll give you 50% of your merch, and I'll cover your travel. And we'll say that you're one of our icons, and I'll give you 10% per event. What do you think? Ugh, you wouldn't even consider it. 2,800? 30. A lot of money. I'll leave that to you guys. If you want Nakamura in the company, apparently we can get him for about $3,000 a show. It's expensive. It's expensive. I don't know if we necessarily need him right now, but it's certainly an option if we wanted it. So there's always that. In terms of other people, obviously Tamina just left, so that's sort of the interesting random one. Strong, I think, was just upkeep, so I think that was us doing that. But we want to see anybody from AEW is also one with a heavy amount of exclusive contracts that would be interesting. So like Anthony Bowen's gone, is kind of interesting. Has signed actually exclusively with WWE. So presumably leaving the tag scene. That's kind of interesting. I don't think we had seen that. Takeshita also gone, signed exclusively with DDT. I believe this was a loan. Same thing with Okada. Butcher, obviously, we had picked up. That's another loan. Wardlow, contract expiry. Also picked up by WWE. That's actually not that shocking at all. Obviously, we have Lance, so Will Ospreay's a loan, even though actually we probably should update him. CM Punk was released. It's unemployed. Will not work for the NWA. Shocking that he would lowball would not work for the betterment of the indie scene. Obviously, get Jade Cargill. We had snatched up. Brian Pillman is in our company already, and then we'll just check New Japan and Impact real quick and just see some loans going on, but that seems to be about it. Suzuki left, working for Noah exclusively now. Ishimori left, is currently unemployed. That's interesting, but is not active in America. He will work in America. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, that's not very popular in America, but not far off. I mean, like, certainly way more popular in Japan, but honestly, a 26 is not a bad starting point, especially when you got a guy that's in solid greens and technical as well. Charisma is going to be a bit of a problem, but I'm going to put him in the short list. And again, homework for this episode. Do you want to see Ishimori in NWA? There's maybe some potential there that we could do. So, that's certainly some options. But he had left for a while, it looks like, and just never was picked up by anybody. So that's kind of interesting. And then finally, Impact, which is still Impact in the save. Obviously, soon will be TNA again in the real life. Rhino left. In July. So that's about it. Jon Moxley having a loan with from AEW. We still have to fix that, but it has not been a primary focus of me right now. So, but at some point I have to remove Impact from the alliance. It's not a huge concern for me right now. So that is it for that. The only other news I have before we start the next episode of Worldwide here, we had lost Joe Galley from broadcasting. I decided, because we kept on getting some issues with our announcing, not keeping up with some of the top parts of the show, to get a bit of an upgrade. So we're going to go ahead and go to our announcers here. For TV show and world events, we do have 2 color commentaries. Tim Storm's pretty good in color. And then Paul Pickett George III, not too bad either. He actually is okay at announcing too, but we needed a little bit stronger of an announcer. So we did hire someone to join the NWA family, and that's Mara Ranallo, who should be pretty much solve any announcing problems between color and announcing here, I think we're going to be pretty golden. And of course, we want to do the same thing for our events as well. So we have low experience together with Tim and George, but hopefully Morrow will be able to Mamma Mia his way to success here for us. So we'll go ahead and save those. I don't know if I have to save this as well. I do have to save that. So let's fix that. Boop, boop, boop. So that should be that for our announcers. They should be both in there. Perfect. That's pretty good. That's good. A good get for us, and I think that'll solve some of our penalties when it comes to the announced team struggling to keep up to some of the higher tier matches. Still have 3 more days of sim. Let's go ahead and go through that. All right, guys, we are ready for NWA Worldwide. We'll go ahead and do an open forum. Just let some people air some grievances. We have a lot of people that have left off the show complaints, and that is fine. We will let them air it out a little bit and help them a little bit. Won't hurt our backstage rating too much, so that is fine. I think we will hit the Mid-Atlantic again. I think that worked really well for us. We had a pretty good show, 214 fans. We'll go ahead and select just the best option. Be in the same community college, we'll run it again. We want to run the same location again. Well, let me look at what's our spillover. Mid-South and Mid-Atlantic. We'll hit Mid-South. How about that? Only expect 156 fans. That's fine. But we will hit Colorado here and just kind of rotate things a little bit more than running another one in Mid-Atlantic. We kind of need some of these to bump up a little bit, so that's probably for the best. All right. We got 125 minutes to do something with. Let's go ahead and book the show. Catch you guys on the flip. Alright guys, we got a full show with 2 pre-show matches, just trying to get some guys some work so they stop getting angry at me. So we'll see how this show goes. One of those situations where, again, I think some of our pre-show matches might end up being better because I just needed to get some people to work and I didn't have time to put them on the show. But that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. So starting off the show with a solid 57, we have Ramona Riot and Jamie Hayter versus Kota Kai and Thunder Rosa. 4 women that really don't have much screen time right now, and I wanted to kind of stop Thunder Rosa from being so upset. Thunder Rosa's been kind of been timid. I've been timid to put her in the ring because she has this chronic back injury that's been a problem. The injury that Thunder Rosa worked through took a toll, although less than it would have on most people. So it's still, she did okay, but I don't want to necessarily get her to, re-injure herself significantly. She ends up winning, actually pinning Jamie Hayter. Again, pre-show match, just trying to get people to do some work. Mauro Ranallo apparently had a horrible gimmick rating for his staff member gimmick, so we'll have to fix that. Similarly, even though Motor City Machine Guns have a promo tonight, I wanted to give them a little bit of work, and then also, specifically, also wanted to get Breeze and Slee some work. So this was kind of double up. I'm already paying them to be on a promo. Might as well put them in a match. Again, this probably should have been on the main show in some capacity, but it just was filled to the brim. I wish we had full 2 hours. And that's sort of the goal, was I need to get the full 2 hours to get people on the show properly. Good wrestling, decent reaction. Of course, Motor City Machine Guns defeat them. This is partly also because Zicky Dice is upset. He's got some irritation. So putting him at least on the show in a pre-show, while we don't necessarily have a storyline for him right now, was sort of the intended goal here, and to save some money by having reusing people that we already have a promo for. Starting to show off very hot with Juice Robinson calling out Remy Zane. Obviously, he's got some big beef with him about this house show match 10 years ago, and he calls him out. Remy comes out fired up after being attacked previously. Juice stops him from kind of coming forward, right? He goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow those britches. You see, unlike you, the old Hard Rock actually has friends left. And, well, if he don't have them, he knows at least how to pay them. So, with that said, the True Bloodline joins them. So the whole crew joins them in the ring. You guys kind of muscle. Fatu joins last. Looks to Juice. Seems to not care any amount in the world about him, but simply just holds out his hand, which Juice starts to rummage in his pockets and pulls out a big fat stack of cash bound together, probably, a couple grand, and he just drops it in Fatu's hands. Fatu kind of flips through it real quick and pockets it and then nods to him. So the Bloodline apparently, to some extent, up for sale, is willing to work a little bit for money. Juice gets his confidence back at this point and goes, you see, Remy, I want you in a match. I want to prove to the world at Wrestle Woodstock. But I don't want no funny business before. I don't want you to fight me and run me down in the back. If you want me early, you got to go through them. Because as long as I pay them, the True Bloodline's got my back. And you got nobody. And Remy, that's true. He doesn't have anybody here. But some music hits, and it surprises Remy, and he turns around. So in this first half of the segment, it's fantastic. Gain heat for the story of a Remy in a hard place. Everybody did fantastic here. Nobody faltered. Everyone just got perfect, and it got 77 here. Got the crowd hotter. Afterwards, we have another not as good part of the segment, but did okay. Nick Aldis here, underperforming. Ricky Starks comes out, barreling out to Remy's side. Obviously does not care about Juice Robinson, but certainly is upset about the brutal beating that he got from Fatu, that Nick Aldis and him both just got beat the crap out of him in the cafeteria. He comes out with a mic. Nick Aldis is quickly running behind him. Nick Aldis is looking very frustrated at this point. He does not seem like he wants to be involved in this situation. He seems like, as a friend, is kind of coming out to maybe cool Ricky down a little bit. Ricky lashes out, says, listen here, I don't give a crap about your two's therapy session out here, but I got beef with that big lump of shit that you just paid. If Remy needs help, and it gets me to him, then fine. We want some action. Let's do it. 2-on-2 tonight. Fatu laughs, just shakes his head and goes, nobody wants a little thief involving themselves in this. I'm not interested. Nick is trying to pull Ricky back, trying to be like, dude, just stop. Don't involve yourself in this kind of thing. He's trying to kind of pull him back here. But Ricky Starks blurts out on the mic, fine, TV title. Tonight, you beat us, you get a rematch at Wrestle Woodstock for this title. Nick Aldis puts his hand on his head. He just kind of feels like, what are you doing? Stop. He's kind of face-palming at this point. And Fatu just grins wildly, thinking it over a little bit, nods. Yeah, okay. You bring it then. So, Fatu wants that title back. Feels that Ricky kind of stole it, and kind of did a little bit of help from Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis kind of wants to move on from this. He's probably not too thrilled about having this massive group as enemies, but Ricky Starks is too hot and bothered at this point, and might be getting himself into a bad situation, but works out for Remy, because now we have a 2-on-2 match, and he gets a chance to maybe rough up Juice a little bit in the main event tonight. So this does pretty well. Advanced 2 storylines. Unfortunately, Fatu Nick Aldis underperformed. Everybody else did very good. 65. Can't complain about that. First match of the night, it didn't do great. Again, it's one of those ones I was like, man, it's for a story, but maybe we should have had something else from the pre-show on. Decent reaction from the crowd. Subpar wrestling. Kylie Ray defeated Marty Belle in 9 minutes. Gave her a crossface. Kylie Ray has a 48. Unfortunately, Marty Belle only has a 24. So that's really what kind of hurt us here. Marty Belle also really off her game. So again, suffering even more. But had good chemistry. So I guess, end of the day, not too bad. But not necessarily where we needed it to be. Afterwards, Aly Catch has been... it's got a little bit of beef with Kylie Ray. And after Kylie's win, a feed comes on the sort of Titantron area. Screen above the entrance. Aly Catch is in front of a camera. She's squaring it up, kind of adjusting it because she's recording it herself. She's in a room of some sort. She steps aside from the camera. And then in that room, we see Kylie Ray's friend, Delilah Doom, who they've tagged up with quite a bit the last couple months. She's tied up to a chair in what looks to be an electrical closet. Aly looks back at the camera, grinning, knowing that Kylie Ray is seeing it. And then dangles a chain from her hands in a menacing way before turning off the camera. The cameras follow Kylie as she sprints through the back, running to the electrical closet. When she gets there, Aly Catch is nowhere to be seen, and we see a busted open Delilah Doom, unconscious, still tied to that chair, presumably attacked by the chain. And we see medical intervene, stretcher her out, and Kylie Ray kind of goes with her into the ambulance. So things heating up between the two of them. Unfortunately, this segment doesn't really land, which is kind of a bummer, because Aly Catch has good charisma. So I guess just in terms of the acting and selling, Delilah Doom and Kylie Ray just couldn't quite match up with us. I still believe in this feud. It might have been just Delilah being involved may have hurt this angle specifically, which I think I had her for selling. I probably should have had her as a cameo to reduce her total rating. So that was sort of a mistake, but oh well. We have a kind of another subpar match, unfortunately. Brock Anderson out there defeating the Butcher in 14 minutes with a quick cradle. Gets a bit of a flash win on the Butcher, but performing well solo on himself. Brock has a 41. He's got the momentum of a major star at this point, and certainly the perception of one in the company, but he is not really hanging in the ring in terms of in-ring performance. So that's a bit of a problem for us. But he's sort of a pet project that we've been working on. Obviously, he has this feud with Brian Pillman, his former tag partner. This does okay, though, overall. It's a 41. It's not the worst thing in the world. Arn, ringside, doing some good work here. Afterwards, Brian Pillman shows up and ends up attacking Arn Anderson while Brock Anderson is preoccupied at the end of the match, and ends up kind of, beating him with a steel chair, beating the old man. Brock Anderson sees it eventually after watching it happen, having to kind of chase down Pillman, who runs away. We need to actually cement that heel turn. So we actually have that set right. Segment does okay at a 49. Afterwards, we have a okay promo. I'm kind of surprised it's so low with Eddie, which is kind of weird. But Eddie's in the locker room preparing for a match. Kathy Kelly comes in for a quick interview, asking him about the match coming up. Tonight it was announced that they're going to be facing Bobby Roode versus Tim Storm Jr. Obviously, Eddie and Homicide have been kind of wanting to do the tag thing. So it's a big name challenge. Bobby Roode's a big name. Tim Storm's his protege, been making names for himself. So it was an interesting matchup. Eddie kind of greets Kathy, goes, "Yo, Kathy, how you doing? Hey, you want to know how I'm doing, huh? Before this match? Yeah. Oh, I'm fine. We're fine. We are in the zone. Because me and my brother Homicide here, we got a big match tonight, huh? But we ain't afraid of big matches. Our whole life, everything's always been stacked up against us. Everything's been a big match, you know? This isn't different. We're just going to go out there and we're going to do what we do. And we're going to keep doing that until the tag titles are around our waists. So, Eddie's all in with tagging with Homicide here. They got a big match tonight. Got to face Bobby Roode and Tim Storm Jr. Going to see how that plays out. Again, wish this promo did a little bit better, but oh well. Afterwards, we get news that something happened backstage. Yamato was walking into the show when he was attacked by Cody Rhodes. Cody gets the upper hand, ends up leveling him, and then stealing the NWA title, screaming at him on the ground that it's his title. Cody's starting to look more and more unhinged, and has ultimately stolen the NWA title back, and kind of building up, continuing this feud between Yamato and Cody here. We have a very short, very underperforming match with Jade Cargill and a enhancement talent, Rooney Nicole. It's 3 minutes. She gets jaded. Jade has a 44. Rooney had a 24. Gave us only a 30. But again, we're just trying to get as many dominant wins in for Jade. We have kind of an uphill battle as we kind of move her in to face Allison Kay. So we're giving her win after win, kind of establish that dominance, and hopefully make up for some... Well, I mean, honestly, 44 is hardly the worst in-ring performance, but we certainly want to kind of build her up for our audience as soon as possible. And I didn't really have anybody that I wanted to necessarily, job out to. So we sent an enhancement talent out. Unfortunately, 24 kind of brought it down a bit. Afterwards, though, Jade made up for it just from her natural charisma. She gets that camera in close, motions it to come in, and, she just has that gravitas that lures people in. And all she does, sticks out 3 fingers, goes 3 and then a 0 in her hand. She's showing that she's 3-0 in the NWA. She was known for her undefeated streak in AEW. It seems like she wants to start that back up here in the NWA. And obviously it's a target towards Allison Kay, who's the women's champion right now. Overall, pretty good here. It kind of makes up for a lackluster match itself. Another pretty good promo with Chris Savin and Alex Shelly. This is just a backstage promo real quick. As champs, they're just saying they're not afraid of anybody. Looking forward to the fight. They're going to be there for Wrestle Kingdom for whoever wants to challenge them. So, they're just kind of out there doing like a quick backstage promo. It's only like a minute or two, but kind of keeping their presence on the show since they're not in a match on the main show, and everybody else is kind of working to capture their title. Gets a 57, does pretty good here. And they kind of improvised a little bit during the backstage segment, which apparently did pretty well. We have a decent match with Black Tarus and Aaron Stevens, the Cult of Josephus, versus Colby Corino and Mance Warner. Black Tarus gets the pin here, pins Colby Corino with an infernal suplex. Black Tarus is a monster with a 73 in here. Aaron Stevens and Mance Warner, no slouches at a 57. Colby Corino with only a 32. We gained some heat for a Righteous Path storyline here, and building up sort of this dominance of the cult now that Aaron has found the Book of Josephus, a relic of our save for a very long time, has now kind of been following in the footsteps of Josephus, and getting these wins here. Afterwards, though, we got kind of an interesting moment here where we hear a twangy new entrance music. We have a new entrance song, and Vincent comes out to debut in NWA. He's not with Dutch because Dutch has a severe spinal injury, which we'll have to deal with before the episode's over. Maybe look at doing a risky surgery to bring him back in. He's a we get a little bit of a presence of him disheveled looking. He's snapping his fingers in one hand as he dangles a microphone with the other. He kind of moves gracefully but chaotically towards the ring, slides in and looks Aaron up and down, then over to Tarus. There's no fear in his eyes whatsoever to either of them. He goes to the mic, goes, my, what a motley crew we have here. Daddy-o, I gotta say. I dig it. Aaron, unsure about this presence. Issues are a simple question. Why are you bothering me? Are you here to convert? Or are you here to fight? Vincent forms a devilish grin and bows down like almost like a gesture to a king. He goes, neither, my friends. I'm just here to humbly advise. You know, I've walked many paths. I've seen through the veil, and I understand. I understand what this is, as he points, very loosely towards the sort of cult grouping here. And I understand what it needs to become. I come before you only as a servant. Help guide you to what you need to be. Aaron kind of scoffs and goes, I don't need any guidance. I have all of it right here. And he motions it to the book of Josephus in his hands. Vincent nods, goes, I understand. Not everything in the book, though. Sometimes there's apocrypha. I just ask you to hear me out and let me join you for some time, and I'll show you what I mean. Aaron contemplates it and kind of lets him in, and Vincent seemingly joins the Cult of Josephus. So we have a new member who says that he has knowledge that's not in the book, knowledge that Aaron may want, understands everything about this group and what it's about. Unfortunately, we lose a little bit of heat with it. He gets an adequate psycho gimmick rating here, but ultimately kind of lose a little bit of steam. It's only a 48. It's not too bad, though. We have our match with Bobby Roode and Tim Storm Jr. versus Outlaw Inc. It's good wrestling. Decent reaction from the crowd. Outlaw Inc. do defeat Bobby Roode and Tim Storm Jr., continuing their quest for the tag titles. Eddie Kingston gets the pin and pins Tim Storm Jr. Tim has a 47. It's doing pretty good. Actually doing better than Homicide at a 43. Bobby at a 61 and Eddie at a 66. He advanced 2 storylines and gained some heat. It's a pretty good match overall. Afterwards, we get a little bit of a moment here where Bobby is looking down at Tim Storm and just looks pissed. Just looks pissed off. It's not been Bobby's since his debut. It's not really been what he's wanted. You can kind of tell that. He kind of came in with all this pomp, and I feel not necessarily on a losing streak, but all the big matches seem to not be going his way. He kind of brought Tim Storm Jr. in sort of as like a page, like someone he can train and mold for help, and it seems like he's kind of let down by this. He's looking pissed at him. Looks, that he's pissed that he lost. And then Tim Storm Jr. is trying to kind of get a hand up, and Roode just kind of refuses to help him up, walks right past. So there's a little bit of cracks of dissent within this group here. We do lose a little bit of heat from this, but overall the segment does a pretty good with 55. And in our main event, this fantastic 72, Jacob Fatu and Juice Robinson versus Remy Zane and Ricky Starks. What a superb match here. Had superb wrestling, had great heat. Fatu and Juice Robinson defeat Remy Zane and Ricky Starks in 20 minutes. Fatu pins Ricky Starks after using a foreign object. So Fatu, desperate to get that title back, uses a distracted ref to smash Ricky's face open. Gets the win here. We advanced 2 storylines and gained heat with it. Fatu was off his game a bit, but still at a 65. Juice with a respectable 59, as same with Ricky Starks. Remy with a 69. Remy took a stunt bump, which kind of knocked him out of the match for a bit, which is kind of why I was there. Got the crowd buzzing, got a 72 for our main event. Afterwards, we just kind of have some cleanup here as Fatu stands tall, and the announcers point out that he's earned the title shot against Ricky Starks at Wrestle Woodstock, which is not going to be something that Ricky Starks is thrilled by. Very good here. Good way to end the show. That main event might have actually pushed us to a pretty decent show, despite having kind of a mid-card matchups for this show itself. And it certainly does. A 62, that huge main event really propelled it forward, despite all of these broadcast warnings that we really don't have the money to deal with. Very happy with how that show went, even though we only had 129 people that got to see it, besides whoever was watching on TV. All right, let's go ahead and let's take a look at what we got here. Some movement around, some people getting hired in some locations. Not a lot of noteworthy names. Excalibur getting a AEW extension, which is not shocking. Viewing figures 104. We're actually moving up in viewing figures, which is very nice. Should help us financially a little bit, as we'll get a little bit more broadcast revenue. Size-wise, looking pretty solid at a 38 here. Obviously, focusing heavily on the Mid-Atlantic regions, the Mid-South regions, the Midwest regions, trying to boost these up in order to get that broadcaster that we want. Some of our broadcasting options here, something like a Pop TV, we're going to need much higher, something like a maybe I don't know who we could probably get. See who would even listen to us right now. Not a lot. Mav and Tough would be interested in us, but we are 2 hours, aren't we? We are 2 hours. So I have no damn excuse. I totally forgot that we had upped it. For some reason in my head we were still at like an hour and a half. But we are at a 2 hour show now. So that's going to be a problem, because I don't want to go under a 2 hour show. These two will take us, but at a certain point we're going to be looking at who else is out there that would be interested. And a lot of these companies, what they're going to want, even the smallest ones, something like an Access, we don't pass all the requirements. Some of those requirements are, 40 and 8 regions is not going to happen for us anytime soon. 48, that's not going to happen. Pop might be our best shot with a 42 and 9 regions. We're never going to get a 9 regions anytime soon. So some of these are just going to be very difficult. I feel like there was one we were looking at that might have had potential. 32 and 9 regions is possible. Pretty soon, and that might not be a bad move up. Fusions on Vice, so we'd have a little bit of competition there. Bravo, the 65, that ain't happening. Of course, there's other pay-per-view styles and sizes, but a lot of these are going to be way too big. We would look for the very smalls. So I think this is an internet subscription, so even there, we're not meeting the qualifications. So that's sort of the focus here. Is we're going to need to kind of move some of these up to get noticed, and that's going to be difficult. We need to kind of move the needle in all. We need like 8, 9 regions in order to get those national contracts with broadcasters, and we have. We're almost there in Mid-Atlantic. We're almost there in Mid-South. Tri-State, we're not far behind. Mid-Northwest, some of these we need to bump up a little bit. So we need to kind of focus, get these over to the 35 hump. then Tri-State, then these other ones, and hopefully some pay-per-views will help kind of boost us up there. Now, to medical. I have Dutch. I want to bring Dutch in. He's unavailable for booking for 9 months. That's unfortunate. Thunder Rosa is working through her back pain. She'll be 100% in 27 days. But 9 months is rough. It's a high-risk surgery. I think we're gonna do it. Oh no. Oh well. Dutch is now out for a year. So effectively, Dutch is not coming in. My hope was to roll the dice because there's such a long period of time. That obviously didn't work out for us, but not a big deal. We have other plans for Vincent as well, so I'm not too concerned. But that was it for me today. Thank you guys for watching. If you have not seen already, we have a brand new Discord, so go ahead and click the link in the description to join the new Discord. It's bigger, it's better, it's very active already, so if you're not in there already, jump in. It's a lot of fun. It's nice to be able to talk to everybody. So thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you next time.